There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome to SYFY Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the SYFY channel. I'm Steve.
And I'm Sean, Fangirl S, and tonight we'll be discussing episode 7 of season 2 of Van Helsing. So, we got a couple things we need to talk about news-wise. One, and if you're on Twitter, you're seeing this a lot, that everybody involved with the show is encouraging everyone who's tweeting with them to tweet Renew Van Helsing, because apparently they might be on the bubble with SYFY.
Right.
So hopefully everybody's doing that, but make sure you continue to do that. Very important.
Yes, it is.
And the next little bit of news is something that's extremely important for all of us, and you've probably seen it all over the internet on various late night shows talking about net neutrality. And you might think it's not too big of a deal, but the more I've been reading about it, the more it's really going to affect, well, you and I right now. You're listening to this podcast. And if net neutrality does not stay the way it is, you might be getting charged through your provider to listen to this podcast. You might be charged to stream the show if you missed it and you're watching it online, to go check out the website, their website or our website, to go shop. 'Tis the season, you're probably shopping online too. You might be charged extra to shop online, because without net neutrality, all of this can change. A lot of other countries don't have net neutrality, and they're charged anywhere between $5 and $40 a month for certain things. Social media, streaming of music like iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, social media, which I think I said twice, but mail, there's everything. And just seeing different websites, like I said, for shopping and news. So.
Yeah, I was just agreeing with everything you said, that yes, this could turn out to be more than what most people want to deal with, especially those that have cut the cable and they're not getting their entertainment via the TV, via a cable company. They're getting it through an internet provider, and if those internet providers decide that they're just going to start charging additional fees for everything you do online, then that's going to bring their cost up to where it is for having cable. So
right, I was looking at cutting the cable, and right now I'm kind of afraid because I don't know what's going to happen. If you're watching Netflix, Hulu, Amazon shows, those could all be getting charged a lot more. So we don't want it to happen, because in all honesty, we're not going to be able to incur the extra cost to even upload our shows.
Right.
So we're encouraging everybody to go. And this is the website that Stephen Colbert actually created that will redirect you to the FCC site, so you can write in how you want to keep net neutrality. So go to www.gofcc.yourself, and then it'll take you to the landing page for FCC, so you can write in how you want to keep net neutrality. And of course, if you have any questions, you can check out everything at FCC. You can write to us at contact@fangirlzone.com. We're happy to answer any questions, the best that we have, but we have to stay vigilant because this is really important. We're a generations, I should say, of the internet. I mean, the world's gotten so much smaller because of the internet. I now know people literally all around the globe.
Yes.
And I would not have had that chance to talk to these people and, well, not meeting face to face, most of them, but meeting at least through the computer, and actually see their faces had it not been for the internet. So I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but I'm sure a lot of you are in the same thing. If you like gaming online, that's going to be affected. And I know a lot of you know people all over because of gaming online too. So please go to the website, write in to keep net neutrality. And that's our PSA for the day.
Indeed it is.
So let's jump into our ratings news for Van Helsing, shall we?
Right, episode 7 brought in a 0.12 in adults 18 to 49, which is up a tick or two, with 0.345 million viewers, making it the 95th rated cable show for the day.
I think that's still pretty good.
It's not bad, yeah. And our Live Plus 7 Days episode 5 did not make the top 25 once again, so apparently we aren't getting a whole lot of bump in DVR watching of this show, so apparently most of the fans are watching it live, so we gotta start making some more noise and bringing some more people into the show.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's why they really want you to hashtag renew Van Helsing.
Yes.
Well, let's jump into this rather interesting episode, shall we?
Yes. Episode 7, Everything Changes. Vanessa faces off with Dimitri. Axel fights against becoming a full-fledged vampire. Sam tracks Mohammed, Flesh and Lucky. Scab tries to enlist a fierce group of vampires to join Dimitri.
And we get to start with Dimitri in a light blue leisure suit and a cheesy mustache. That came up, I'm like, what am I watching?
Exactly.
So apparently we're what? I didn't catch a year. Was it just the 70s, I'm assuming, because it's
Yeah, I believe it was, I don't think they said, but a couple of the recaps said 1976, so.
At a disco bar.
Right, yeah, and that's about right. 76, 77 was the beginning of disco.
Oh my gosh, that suit about killed me, I'll tell you that.
Right, yeah, it was something else.
And then he did that weird run walk.
Yeah.
Like, it had to be those shoes.
Yeah. He must have had one heck of a pair of stacks.
Yeah, you're not exactly going to take off running in those things.
No, not at all.
But he tried to escape and he goes to the roof. Why? It's like every horror movie ever. Where should I not go so I'm not trapped? Oh, that would be the roof or the basement. And he chose the roof in this case. But
yeah, but if you remember, 2 episodes ago, we saw Sam jump out a second-story window and was able to get up and disappear, so.
You know what? I was actually going to ask you about that. I'm like, if he's supposed to be the big bad and not quite an ancient kind of person, but super old and with powers, why the heck didn't he just jump?
Right. And that's what when he headed up to the top of the roof, that's what I thought he was going to do. But then he stopped and was like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed really weird because then he turns around and, there's these shadowy figures coming and he's like, I should have known. It's like, really? Then why did you go there and not jump? I don't know.
Right. Well, and he does say Van Helsing, so we go, okay.
Yeah, interesting, because we know it's obviously not Vanessa, because the timeline doesn't fit.
Right. So it had to be Mama or Daddy Van Helsing, one of the two.
That would make sense.
Yeah. And so, of course, they capture him and take him where else but to the farm.
If that's not reoccurring.
Yeah. And they got him all strapped up, and he threatens to kill the officers, and they just go hog wild on him with some tasers.
Yeah, and then somebody who's shadowy, because we don't get to see their faces.
No, but they're in a lab coat, so we expect, my guess is probably the man we saw in Vanessa's flashback of the daycare.
Right. Who I am still sticking to this, is the person who Scarlett thinks is her dad.
Right.
That, like, the guy, and I'm blanking on the name already. The last name, she said. But that's who I'm like, dang, he was in the name Harkin.
Right.
Yeah. Like the original Dracula. But, yeah, I think that's who it is. But he seems all kind of big and bad. He's like, oh, Dimitri, this is going to hurt you a lot if you don't quit. It's like, what are you doing? Obviously experiments, but they're not experimenting on him.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, it didn't look like it, I should say.
Yeah, it didn't look like they were injecting him with something. It looked like they were taking something out. And I agree with you there.
Where they hit him, it looked like they were taking spinal fluid.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Which I'm like, don't move! Don't move! Yeah. Like, I cringed because that was a big-ass needle. I'm going to tell you that.
Yes.
And if you didn't cringe when you see that, you have got way better, like, nerves of steel than I do, because anytime you see them giant needles and I know it's fake, it's like, oh God, that's huge.
Yes.
But apparently, yeah, Dimitri's talked a lot of shit down there, but he could back some stuff up.
Yeah, because somebody comes to the door and throws him a key.
Not just any somebody, because he says
somebody in the lab coat, that's for sure.
Well, he says, and this is what I thought was weird, because it's got to be Vanessa's mom. Because the way he said it, he's like, there's only one person that can approach undetected or be, like, make her presence known if she wants. Van Helsing.
Ooh, okay.
And then, because you don't see a face or anything, and he's just like, why? Just, the key comes in.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm guessing this was after whatever happened in the daycare.
Right, yes, I think, well...
I'm thinking she was just pissed, and she's like, all right, I'm done here.
Could be. Let's see. We figure the sisters are probably in their 30s.
Oh, so no, it would have been... Well, we don't know how long he's been down there, though.
Right.
So it could well have been after the incident in the daycare, because he could have been down there for years.
Right.
So I'm going to stick by that theory, even though the timeline could be kind of skewed, because...
Wonky, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. With the time compression that they like to put in some of these shows. But what do you guys think? Shoot us an email at sci-fi talk@fangirlzone.com.
So Dimitri removes his cuffs and starts taking his vengeance out on anybody and everybody he can find.
I did kind of feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Because, man, he's just tearing them apart. And it could have been a whole lot of people who were never even there before. It's like,
right.
Oh, I just got put in this post. What's this all about? Ah, dead.
But we bounce back to the present, and we get a little bit more information from one Mr. Dimitri that Vanessa and Scarlett are twins.
That was a head scratcher.
Yeah, big time.
Because I thought they were, like, maybe a year or two apart. But I'm like, wait a second, they're twins? Obviously, what is that? Fraternal twins.
Right.
But still, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But if they're twins, then shouldn't they both have the same powers?
And they might.
That's why Scarlett can fight so well.
We don't know for sure. We don't, because Scarlett, we just don't know enough about her, and apparently she hasn't figured out that she may have some powers.
I don't know. I feel that somehow she would know, but maybe not. But hey.
She's had the dreams, but...
Yeah, but she didn't have... Well, you know what? Vanessa didn't know either, though, until after she was actually bit.
Yeah.
So, okay. We'll see. But we got a really nice knockdown drag-out fight.
Oh, it was absolutely awesome.
Now, what I didn't understand here was the girl's, like, totally kicking ass, but she's like, they're healing faster than we can take them down. It's like, why aren't you taking off their heads? I mean...
Right.
You have weapons. Do that. I don't think they're coming back from that, right?
Well...
And Vanessa took a bunch out with less than that. So, I don't know.
Right.
It was weird. Are they all, like, super powered because Dimitri or something?
It might be.
I
mean, if it was some of Maya's people, which it kind of seems hard to believe that happened because we don't get the deal with Maya until this episode. So how could he have additional fighters from her group?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did notice one shot of Dimitri just behind him. I could have swore one of those vampires was Sam, and I was going, oh shit.
Oh, so maybe it was, what's his name's people, because they were all bald.
Right. Julius.
Thank you. I'm like, damn, I blanked on his name. Yeah, because his people were all bald for whatever reason.
Right.
So maybe it was all of his people. Because, yeah, I mean, Sam is not going to be a follower, because Sam's crazy. Like, batshit crazy. So, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
And you're probably right.
But, Vanessa decided she needed a little blood to focus and kick some ass.
Yeah. They decide that if they're almost overwhelmed, so they duck into a closet where Vanessa decides she needs some more go-go juice.
Mm-hmm.
And Scarlett's just like, what the what?
Right, but she's like, you bit me. And then Vanessa, here, hold the key. I think you're the big bad in the room right now. Maybe you need to keep that key on you. because you just said to bite Scarlet and drink some blood. She's, might be down a pint or two at this point.
Right.
But if you noticed, I mean, after Vanessa went out there and was, like, seriously kicking ass.
Right.
Like, Scarlet jumped out there, and she was pretty much right on par then with Vanessa again.
Yes. She held up her end of the bargain just like her sister.
Right. It just seemed really strange. It's like, okay, you just drank her blood, but now she's like, yeah, I'm invigorated too. It's like, what is going on with the weird Van Helsing girls?
Right. Their kind of transfers are going on.
Right.
Scarlet getting some boost from being bit because of Vanessa's saliva or something.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then she was doing great until...
Yeah, she tried to take on Dimitri.
Yeah, maybe that was a bit too overachiever for that moment. Especially when she called him Dracula or something, didn't she? Something stupid.
Yeah.
She's like, I got this one. It's like, oh, no, you don't.
No.
Right when she said it, you're like, oh, wah, wah. Because Dimitri just has Scarlet and he has the key and it's like, ha ha ha, come closer and I'll kill her. And it's like, really? So right then, Scarlet's going to do something.
Right. It had to be.
Yeah.
Because Vanessa had to put down her weapon.
And, well, Scarlet had a knife somewhere.
Conveniently hidden in the sleeve of her jacket.
Well, she literally had something tucked up her sleeve. Like, I've got something up my sleeve. Well, wah. Cuts off Dimitri's hand, grabs the key, and like, phew, let's make our getaway. So that
Right. Now, did you notice that Dimitri grabbed his hand and put it right back on and started wiggling his fingers?
I'm like, what is that?
So cutting off their head may not make a difference. He may be able to put it back on and be fine.
Well, see, I'm assuming because he was a lot older.
Right, yeah.
But,
most vamps probably not.
But yeah, when he did that, I'm like, what the hell? Because his hand wasn't even all the way attached when he started moving his fingers.
Right, it was...
I'm like, what the hell is this? This is so funky. I really was. I was freaking out going, what? What? But, the girls managed to get up the... What did they go up? Oh, the ladder that they had found originally.
Right.
And Axel kind of grabbed Scarlet and she freaked out, but he had grabbed the grenades off her.
Right.
It's like, fire in the hole, down they go, and you hear boom. It's like, oh, good. But that's probably not going to keep them down very long, since they're the ones that moved all those giant rocks from the cave-in.
Right.
So I think this might just deter them for like a half hour.
Yeah, at best.
Right, so time to get moving.
And we see Flesh and Lucky and Muhammad, and Flesh and Lucky. And Flesh is just bent out of shape, thinking that somebody stole Wanda.
Right. But didn't they they had all the fuel.
Right. Yeah, Lucky had made the diesel fuel.
So did somebody did they take the fuel to where Wanda was?
I don't think they got the diesel fuel that Lucky made, because they hadn't found Wanda yet.
Oh, okay.
It went to where he remembered the last place it was, and it wasn't.
Okay. I was getting a little confused. I'm like, wait a second.
Of course, Lucky tries to console him, and of course, being as upset as he is, he kind of bites back at her and kind of want to go, Flesh, you might not want to bite the hand that cares about you.
Right. Like, one of the only people who are being nice to you. Maybe don't be a jerk.
Right. And the reason Wanda's gone is because Julius and Doc found it and have it back at where Vanessa, Scarlet, and Axel are.
Yay!
Have a vehicle.
That's
of course,
good.
Vanessa wants everybody get in. They need to get out of there, except Axel's not having anything to do with it.
Yeah, he was kind of, crazy.
Yeah, I think he's probably was about on his last leg.
He's like, bite me. Now, if she would have just explained it, I think Axel would not have been so, douchey about it.
Probably.
Because...
But then again, he probably would have said, if it does the same thing that it did to your daughter, then I'm better off than being a vampire.
You know what? I was thinking that too, because he seemed like the kind of person that would be like, you know what? I'm still better off than how I am now.
Yes.
And, I mean, look at who's around you right now, Vanessa.
Yeah.
All those people around you have been saved from you biting them.
Right.
And none of them have been burned up. Now, you know specifically because Crazy Doctor told you that your daughter was genetically modified.
Right.
So, if she was modified, then she was different than all the people that you've saved. So, don't be a jerk.
So she finally agrees to bite him.
And he kind of does okay. He starts spitting up the blood.
Spitting up all the vampire blood, expelling it from his system.
It's so gross.
Yes, it's still very gross. But then his heart stops.
And Doc was freaking out because she was like trying to shock him. And I love how she's like spitting on the pedals.
Right.
She's like,
make it more conductive.
Right. She's like, it's not working. They even give him a shot of adrenaline.
Right.
So I'm just wondering what was different here. Other than the radiation that was down there, I don't see why he would be so different.
Well, I think it was probably because he was in such a bad shape. Because he wasn't feeding.
Oh, okay.
So his body was just about gone anyway. So I think that's why what happened.
Okay.
Was his body just wasn't physically able to handle reconversion to being human.
Oh, I gotcha. And, well, they decide to bury him. And Vanessa kisses him.
Which was sweet.
Especially with the, oh, crap. What was it? I'm so sorry, Sleeping Beauty?
Yes.
But it was so weird because then they start driving away and everybody's upset. And they're talking about the key and, they kind of explain that Dimitri wants it, so obviously it's important. And somehow Vanessa drops about an elder.
Right. And Julius just about freaks out.
It's like, bill it, Julius. Tell us everything. He's like, oh, no. That's bad. We gotta go. Maybe you need to tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah. So they drive off, and suddenly Vanessa hears a faint heartbeat.
Which I was like, what's happening?
Right. It's like, what are you hearing, Vanessa? And she immediately figures it's got to be Axel and demands they turn around and go back.
I don't know how her thoughts went there right away, because I was thinking they were talking about the elder and the key that had something to do with him.
Right. I did too. And then Scarlet pipes up and says she hears it too.
And yeah, so they start uncovering Axel. Thankfully, they didn't have him buried real deep.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, so they open up the bag and all of a sudden, Axel's like, what the heck? I'm dead for like a minute and you bury me. So it's weird though, because it had to take some time, obviously, to dig the grave and then bury him and everything that happened. So do you think it was her bite, the adrenaline, everything? But, or what could it be? Because we find out that he did hear Vanessa.
Yes, which was really, really weird because at that point in time, he was basically dead, didn't have a heartbeat.
Right.
Okay, is this some leftover vampire superpower? Because they do have extremely awesome hearing.
Yeah. I was just thinking it was like his heartbeat had slowed down so much.
Right, yeah, because they really didn't have any real medical equipment to be able to know for sure. I think they checked his pulse and Vanessa didn't find any.
Right. But he's alive and he's human. Yay.
Yes. And of course, Doc and Axel have a heart-to-heart, which was absolutely awesome the way Axel handled it. He forgave her, and it was just a beautiful scene between those two.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Vanessa and Scarlet also have a little heart-to-heart. She's still very confused and has a lot of questions. Of course, her life was so much simpler before Vanessa.
I think we all have a lot of questions at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Because it threw her off that she was able to hear the heartbeats and, maybe she has some of the superpowers that Vanessa has that she just doesn't know about yet.
This should be interesting to find out. I'm hoping we get some information.
Right. And unfortunately, Vanessa can't really give her any answer.
Yeah, well, I don't think there was any way she would have been able to unless, their family was there to explain everything.
Right. And who knows if their family's going to even explain everything to her once she does find her mom and possible dad.
Right. Mom who managed to call her in the office of the daycare. It's like, what? What's happening?
basically been blown up.
Right. And then you had a moment with Axel. Oh, God.
Yeah, got his shirt off and stands up and gets into the sunshine, and Vanessa freaks out.
Man, tackled him, and she's like kind of trying to cover him with her coat.
Right.
And he's just like...
He's looking at her like...
Right.
Yeah. So is everybody else.
Yeah, I love how everyone's looking at her like, Vanessa, are you okay?
Yeah.
And she kind of gets up and looks around like, oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
But
you can't blame her because that's what happened to her daughter, and she's afraid it might have was going to happen to Axel, but it didn't.
Right, and then that's when we know he could hear her, because he's like, if you wanted another kiss, you could have just told me, Sleeping Beauty.
Right.
And it's like, what? So he heard her.
Yes.
That's what I'm like, what? Hell, I kind of flailed, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What does this mean? Oh. But, yay.
Got to Smarter Than He Looks, or is he? As Gab is finally getting his meeting with Maya, who of course doesn't want anything to do with Dimitri.
I feel like they don't want anything to do with men, period.
I tend to agree with you there. And even telling her about Vanessa doesn't make a difference. She tells him that we'll deal with Vanessa on our own. She tosses him against the wall, and then we get to see a little bit of sly dog in him as he's able to get back up and get close enough to her to kill her. You go, what?
Yeah, Dimitri just had pieces taken off, and Maya gets taken out with a piece of wood to the head.
Right.
I'm still like, I was expecting, like, because the next scene we have Maya's followers, like, pledging to follow Scap. So I'm like, okay, what is this, like, Pitch Black, the second one, Chronicles of Riddick, where it's like, you keep what you kill, so suddenly, he's like their leader? Because they're pledging allegiance to him. I was expecting Maya to get up, pull that wood out, and be like, oh, really?
Yeah.
This is what it is, okay. And then, like, go crazy on everybody, but that didn't seem to happen.
Right, yeah, we definitely have varying levels of being a vampire, and it's hard to know which level each is, so we have no idea of what it's going to take those vampires out.
I'm hoping that at some point we get a little bit of a flow chart here, too. It's like, okay, This level's here, and this is their power, and who knows.
Right, yeah, we definitely need one of those.
But hey, we have our other trio. Since most of the group's back together, we still have our group out on the edge, Lucky, Flesh, and Muhammad, making their way on foot since they don't really have a choice yet.
Right.
And they kind of start hearing stuff, and they're like, crap, this could be ferals following us. And then they realize that Muhammad is bleeding through his bandages. And they talk him into giving up the bandages and the shirt, which he was really upset about the shirt.
Right. That was his favorite shirt.
I mean, I don't blame him. You have that one shirt you don't want to throw away. But They're like, all right, we got to get rid of it. There's blood all over it. We'll rebandage. So Flesh leaves Lucky to redress the wound. And he goes like, down to like a little creek or whatever. And he's like, bye, and throws the bandage and the shirt into the river.
Right.
And then we hear like
gunshots.
Yeah. Well, right before that, there was a little bit of a fight between Lucky and Muhammad. It's like, listen, you need to chill with that because you're going to get addicted. And Muhammad's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, really? You don't know?
Right, yeah, because he wanted to go off to the bathroom, but he had something in his hand, and he didn't want to show her what it was because he knew what it was, and she knew what it was.
Because he's been living on cocaine, basically, and it's got to be, I know it was for the pain, but it's got to be hindering, like, his body healing.
Right.
Well, then we get to the gunshots, like you said. Flesh comes tearing back, and, well, Lucky's there by herself, and she's just like, he took him. A vampire had taken Muhammad away. Well, of course we know what crazy vampire is, like, stalking Muhammad, basically.
Right.
Oh, crap, he's not dead. Why is he not dead yet? It's Sam. As he does that weird, like, face fondling of Muhammad.
Right.
And he says his name very weird and creepily. You need to quit, Sam, because you're creeping me out. It's like, go back to signing. I'm cool with sign language because when you start talking like this,
It's
like over the top creepy.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
There's no doubt about that.
Right. It's like, ugh. We have our group back in Wanda, though. Our other group. Because our trio's down to 2 out on their own, but the rest of the Scooby Gang, all in Wanda, and they have a shared dream. Or nightmare. However you want to
I would call that a nightmare.
It was just weird. And it's like, oh, now we're all sharing everything. This is strange.
Yeah, this is a little unusual.
And Axel didn't have anything, but he was awake and he was on, like, guard duty.
Right.
So he either didn't have the dream because he was awake, or because he hasn't had enough time for everything to kind of process in his system yet. Right. Which one do you think?
I just think it...
Or a little both.
His system he hasn't gotten processed enough to where he's going to start having the same dreams as the rest of them.
And as far as we know, Julius hasn't explained anything about the Elder.
Right, that he knows. Exactly. So he's keeping a secret now, which is not real good.
No.
I think he really should be spilling the beans on everything he knows about the Elder, because he should know by now that if that's what Vanessa's seeing, Vanessa's going to find out.
Right.
She's heading in that direction. So if you know something that could cause this to go horribly wrong for Vanessa, you need to tell her about it.
Right? Share it with the class.
Yes.
I'm like tripping over my tongue trying to get that out. Because obviously this doesn't just affect you anymore. You were not like big bad vampire that's going to stop things from happening. No. Now you are a group that has been turned, running from a vampire, trying to figure out what the hell these dreams mean and what the hell this Elder has to do with anything.
Right. And you don't want to have Vanessa lead Dimitri straight to the Elder.
Right, because what if the Elder is like on our side and can destroy Dimitri and change everything back to the way it was or something?
Right.
But the dream has to do with a mountain that was in the mural, which is so weird and random.
Right.
And they're like, oh.
Well, not really, because for the whole series, they've said you needed to get above the clouds and Denver and the mountains. So it kind of made sense that you'd have a mountain range in the daycare if they kind of knew what was going to happen.
Ah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that at all. But, okay, hey, let's get moving and let's go there. But before they go anywhere, there's a helicopter. There's a freaking helicopter!
Yes.
Where the hell did that come? And then Axel, I'm sorry, how freaking stupid are you?
Right. Well, he's military, so of course he thinks it's got to be a military copter, and any help that they can get, he's going to try to get it for him.
It could be freaking Dimitri for all you know.
Exactly.
I'm like, as soon as he started doing that, I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you even serious right now? Because of course, I'm like, nah, nope. If they were good guys, they would have somehow announced they were good guys and not been like, oh, we're going to just suddenly find you guys and then gas you all. And not just that, but leave your asses laying there for any feral to come along and eat you.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, not the good guys. I wouldn't have trusted. No. I wouldn't have been waving them down in the first place.
No.
You wait to see what's happening.
Yep, because they do get gassed before the chopper even lands, and both Axel's trying to fight it, Scarlett's trying to fight it. Not good enough. They jump out. They were there for Vanessa, and they take her away.
And if you're here to help, and they know who she is, why aren't you helping all of them then? Grab them all.
Right. Yeah, and at first I thought maybe it was her mother that was behind this, but if it was, they would have grabbed both Vanessa and Scarlett. So this is no good.
Right. So, again, you need to tell me what's happening. I don't know. This is annoying. But this is annoying in a good way because this is not the season finale. If it was, I'd be super pissed. I'll tell you that. Not saying that some of the shows haven't done this to us for a finale, but we do have at least a few more episodes. Hopefully we'll get some answers. Ah, yikes. All right, guys. Well, what do you think about the whole thing? Send us emails. We want to know what your little tinfoil hat theories are, too. SYFY Talk at fangirlzone.com. You can always shoot Steve and I messages through there, through Twitter, through Facebook. They're everywhere. So, and don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and any other platform that you're finding us on. And thanks for listening, because we've had some of you, which we've talked about on previous shows, write to us on YouTube, and which is awesome. And it's like,
we had 5-star ratings this week on iTunes.
oh, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Not a review, but they did rate us, so.
Oh, we do.
Thank you.
Always appreciate that. And again, don't forget hashtagging Renew Van Helsing, because if they're going to screw with us like this, I need to know we have another season, not just another episode, another season, so we can maybe get some answers.
Yes.
They're going to stress me out.
6 episodes would not, they've already got the last 6 episodes in the can, so there wouldn't be any way that they could go back and try to wrap up everything. So we need a season.
Yes, we do. All right. Don't forget to tell your friends, and we do hope you're enjoying all of these podcasts. And Steve and I have some fun little interesting ones that we have in the works. So hopefully you guys will enjoy some of it. Now, we will tell you, we are going to be separating feeds, but we will warn you beforehand. So we're going to have like SYFY Talk. We'll separate that out with the shows to make it easier for people who like some shows, not the others. But we will warn you that, again, is something that's in the works, but that may be a little while down the road. Mostly because I got to figure it all out. I'm not too tech savvy sometimes. But anyway, for this episode of SYFY Talk, I am Sean, Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. If you wanted another kiss, you could have just asked.
And until next time.